Good morning, entrepreneurs. You tuned into the Non-Corporate Network, the worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. You are watching Entreprenews. I'm joined by my co-host,
Dustin Trout.
I'm Chaz Vandemotter, and we are here to bring you the top 6 trending small business stories. Dustin, you want to tell them where they can be tuning in or where they can check us out at?
Yeah, anywhere where you can watch, listen, or read content, chances are we're there. Find us on YouTube, any popular podcast channel, Spotify, iTunes, whatever it may be. Just search Entreprenews. You'll see our ugly mugs.
There's one ugly mug, maybe.
That is yours.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our first story here. Black Friday is over. Here's why retailers are touting weeks of deals. Black Friday's been losing its clout in recent years, and it's possible for shoppers to search from their couch, find what they need. In an effort to keep retail alive, many retailers are extending their Black Friday to weeks as opposed to single day. And so, Dustin, I know this has been a trending headline in Entreprenews as it relates to what's going to happen with e-commerce, especially with all of the Black Friday stuff coming up this year. Do you think that extending these in-person retail deals is going to help to keep our Black Friday retail presence afloat?
Yeah, I mean, the sales will definitely help. I mean, it's every year it gets longer and longer and longer. I mean, pretty soon we're going to be into a whole year of, it's 2021 year of savings. So, I mean, they're doing everything they can to keep the in-store foot traffic. But I mean, I've been mentioning on any chance I get, I mean, e-commerce is going to take over the in-store foot traffic. And I mean, them having to do sales for an extended period of time is only showing that. I mean, eventually we're going to get to a point to where the people that do love going in stores are just kind of, they're outnumbered by the people that are okay sitting on their couch ordering. Doesn't fit, they send it back. I mean, it's only a matter of time before that happens, and I can't wait to replay some of these episodes and just go, see, Chez, time is told.
Okay, well, I mean, 64% of consumers say they're less inclined to shop on Black Friday than they were a few years ago, according to a study of over 1,500 consumers. Nearly 60% said that they also had lost an interest in shopping on Cyber Monday. Those numbers have risen from 55% to 47% and 47% respectively from last year. So I think it's interesting to see that it looks like by extending these deals that it's kind of losing its luster of your Cyber Monday or Black Friday and turning into shopping season. And Dustin, to your point of this shift to e-commerce, I mean, we talk about this all the time. I cite the same statistic every time, like, in-person retail, $3 billion, online consumers, like 25% of that. And so, I think it's going to continue to rise. Obviously, it's growing much quicker than retail is growing. But I think there's some things you're just not going to buy unless you're in person, especially the older population. And, okay, they're on the way out. They still got 10 years of them being a big part of the consumer base. So I don't think that we're going to be having an exodus anytime soon, especially on clothing. You want to try it on. I know my mom's very apprehensive about putting her credit card into any kind of website. So I think that we're still going to kind of slowly but surely wean off of retail over the next few years.
Yeah, no, I think to your point, it's always going to be there. It's just the numbers are going to flip. Instead of e-commerce accounting for 10% of total retail transactions, it'll account for 90, and then in-store will account for 10. I mean, those big things that you have to go test out and try. I mean, no one said that you would buy a car without even seeing it. And look at Carvana now. So
that is true. That is true. They're blowing up right
now.
Yeah. Getting into our next story, Manhattan apartment sales tumble 46%, leaving 10,000 unsold units. This is right on the backs of an increase in tax bracket down from $10 million a year to $1 million a year. People are moving out in droves, especially from areas like LA, New York City. Dustin, what does this say about the future of our economy, as well as the future of these large hubs like New York and San Francisco and places that have been hit hard by the pandemic, in the sense that people are just straight leaving?
It's tough. I mean, the cost of living is just so high. I mean, you got people leaving, and so their tax revenues are going down, and so they got to bring it in. People are leaving because of the cost of living. The housing is too expensive. Their taxes are too high. So then what do? They impose more taxes on bigger amount of people. I mean, it's going to happen. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the economy as a whole. I mean, we're talking before this, you look at New York and LA, I mean, they probably, account for a good 35% of the overall GDP. But I mean, as people are realizing you can work remote, I mean, I don't need to be in Silicon Valley. I don't need to be in a high rise in New York. I can be in some little city in Arkansas and get the work done and get it done as well as I can in other places, probably even better without all the distractions and whatnot. Yeah. What I'm interested to see is as people start shifting around more is what does that look like from a payroll perspective? I mean, our companies gonna be like, well, the cost of living is cheaper, so we're going to pay you less. Is that savings going to be passed on to consumers? I mean, I think there's a lot that's going to be at play here pretty soon. It's going to be interesting to see it all unfold.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% see that happening. It's already happening with companies like Facebook. Google's announced that, now you can be remote entirely forever. And so, I think it's only a matter of time before we start to adjust the wages based on where you live. But what I'm more interested in seeing happen is, okay, now everyone's moved out of New York and you're living in some other area in the Midwest. Well, there's a lot more people that move there. So now they're going to raise those rates because they can. And when are we going to hit a point of inflection where it's like, well, now my rate's comparable to what it was in New York when I left. Now I'll just go back to New York because I like it better there anyway. I came here to save money and now I'm not doing that. So I think that over time, we're going to see this go full circle where it becomes just as expensive to live anywhere. And now we're going to just go back to the high rises.
Yeah, I mean, that's the exciting part of a sliding supply and demand scale. I mean, that's what makes investing, I mean, so fun is you see this happening. Right now, it's probably not a good time to start investing into New York and LA, but people are moving. I mean, we've mentioned how many people are moving to Arizona. Chances are you should start investing here. But to your point, housing is going way up. I mean, there's more taxes on the ballot this year. I mean, the cost of living is going to go up, and then you're going to have a mass exodus and people are going to go somewhere, but it creates opportunities for those people to invest into where people are leaving. But that's
no, it'd be interesting to see. It's going to happen quick. I mean, It's been happening quicker and quicker. We're getting to our next story. Is it safe for Arizonans to trick or treat this Halloween? Dustin, the Maricopa County Health Department has not released any specific guidelines, but the head of the department says they urge Arizonans to use the following protocols, which you have heard a million times: wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Dustin, do you think it's safe to be trick-or-treating? What does this look like this holiday season?
Well, I mean, CDC says wear a mask, and I mean, pretty much everyone is wearing a mask during Halloween. But all joking aside, I mean, it's we've been scrapping more and more stuff from our everyday life, and it's unfortunate. But it's unfortunate if we have to keep prolonging this. And I think let's scrap the trick or treating for a year. Let's get back to getting things out and about. If we do that, we have people touching candy, handing it out. You're gonna have a huge increase in infections, and then more is gonna shut down. I think overall we all want the same thing, and that's for everything to open back up. And I think trick-or-treating isn't going to achieve Arizona opening up 200% quicker. But what are your thoughts?
Let the kids trick-or-treat, Dustin. What's next? We're going to cancel Halloween. We're going to cancel Christmas. People have been canceling everything, and it just conditions our society into going, oh, well, I guess we don't need that. And now it comes around next year. Well, we canceled it last year. It was actually kind of nice. Didn't have to go trick-or-treat. Let's just do that again. We're just going to continue to dehumanize our society, dehumanize our people. I mean, the numbers in terms of empathy that younger children and the new generation have compared to your baby boomers, just understanding what it means to be a human and how to interact with other people. If we just completely revolutionize our society into fully remote, never contact with anybody, never be around other people, we're left with what? We're left with the people that are only concerned about themselves and their own well-being. And I think that that's a huge risk, especially with all the environmental problems that are going on, especially with all of the mental health problems that are going on. We're not canceling Halloween. Come on.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And it's, I'd rather cancel Halloween and get back to everything being on track this next year than have a haphazard Halloween this year. We don't get anything under control. Things still don't open up 100%. We're still operating at 50%. And we still have a haphazard one next year. I mean, I too share those same concerns, mental health, people getting out. I mean, the interactions among people. I mean, that's what drives business is relationships and friend. In order to have that, you have to interact with people. So I do hear you on that point, and that's why I think that we should cancel Halloween for this year, because if we don't, things are going to spread, and then it's going to prolong the time in which we get to 100%. And overall, you're then prolonging the amount of time it takes to get back to that interaction and that learning as a society. But
your high risks don't go. Well, getting into before we get into the next story, my mistake. Want to mention that we are partnered and powered by State 48. It's an amazing company out here in Arizona. You know, it feels like you've got on when you're wearing one of their shirts. It feels like you're walking down the runway anywhere you go. I mean, these things are awesome. Really amazing partnerships with some great organizations out here that do a lot for our community. But Dustin, anything you want to mention about State 48?
No, I typically don't get compliments on my fashion sense. It's never the best, but when I'm wearing State 48, turn some heads, and so
yeah, neck breaking,
it's great.
Bro.
Yeah, so thank you State 48 for breaking some necks for me, and check them out. Clothing for all, inspired by Arizona. Check them out, state48.com.
I love it.
So let's get into our next story. Uber and Lyft, they are spending some big money in California to oppose an even costlier gig worker law. So Uber Technologies and Lyft are spending nearly $100 million on the November California ballot initiative to overturn a state law that would compel them to classify drivers as employees. Right now, the two ride-hailing companies would face more than $392 million in annual payroll taxes and workers' compensation costs, even if they were to drastically cut number of drivers on their platform. It was calculated that for each full-time driver, it would cost the company on average an additional $7,700 a year. Should these drivers be full-time employees? Should they be contractors? I mean, $392 million in payroll taxes. They're spending 1/3 of that just to prevent it from happening. I mean, they could just not waste their time and just give in. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and it's been a back and forth battle. I'll tell you one thing I think probably shouldn't have happened is Uber came out and said, yeah, they're employees. We're going to pay you a cash stipend for health insurance. We're going to give you a full-time schedule and you're going to become a real employee. And then a month later, it's like, actually, we're going to spend $100 million repealing what we just did. So I think that, timing is a little off there. It's tough, it's tough. I mean, I view Uber and these different gig economy type of jobs as something where it is kind of a supplement income. And if you are doing it full time, then you do have the leeway to do it whenever you want. And, that is the essence of being a contractor. So the other thing I look at is like, I know Lyft has really taken a position of, we're not going to do it the way Uber does it. We're going to have better drivers. We're going to have a better experience. And now they're pooling their resources together. But again, this tax bill looks high, but at the end of the day, Uber made $14 billion last year. Lyft made almost $4 billion last year. This scratches the surface of the expenses that they're going to have to take on in order to make their employees happier, in turn generating more revenue. I mean, they keep burning money doing this. We're going to be back to taxi cabs before you know it, Dustin.
Bring on the taxi cabs back. The thing I understand is, why does it have to be one or the other? I mean, it's going through benefits and everything that we're going through. I mean, it's you can have when people get these benefits that they have to work a certain amount of hours, 30 hours, whatever it may be. But if it is more of a full time, then they become an employee and they have to pay the payroll. I mean, why are they a circumstance instead of the norm of what other businesses have to operate? I mean, once they start working a vast majority of their overall hours as an employer or an employee, then you can't keep them at a 1099. You have to turn them into a W-2 or whatever it may be. So I don't understand why there's such a huge, it has to be employees or they have to be contractors. It should just be like everything else. But to your point, it is very interesting that they said they're going to pay for health benefits and all that type of stuff, signaling that they're treating them as employees. And now they're spending all this money to prevent that.
Stock price is not looking good right now.
So going on to our next story, talking about stocks. So Airbnb, they aim to raise roughly $3 billion in an IPO. The company's current plan is to make its filing public available after the November presidential election targeting an IPO sometime in December. Sources of this do caution that the timing is subject to change based off of the overall election. I mean, whoever gets elected is obviously going to change regulation, and so they'll adjust their timing accordingly. The company could achieve a valuation of more than $30 billion with this IPO, which is substantially higher than the $18 billion Airbnb valuation that was given back in April when they raised $2 billion in debt from investors. And so they had a huge crash back in April of people searching. Since then, there's been a huge surge in people looking for Airbnbs as people have to kind of hunker down. But I mean, Chaz, what are your thoughts? Should people be buying this stock? What's the valuation look like? I can't wait.
I'm not going to tell you whether to buy the stock or not. I'll let you decide there. But let's think about this. We've almost doubled the valuation in 6 months. You're telling me we're doubling Airbnb's valuation in 6 months. You're telling me that Airbnb's valuation is substantially larger than Hilton. It's almost double Hyatt. It's almost triple other like Marriott. You know, this is absolutely, I guess, double Marriott and triple Hyatt. And so I look at this and I go, you know, I understand that there's a lot of hype around Airbnb. It's a great product. I agree. They don't own any real estate. Okay. And also you're banking on people going and temporarily living in other people's homes during COVID. There's a reason that this crashed so much. Taking on $2 billion of debt and then magically turning your valuation almost double in 6 months is a very large red flag. It's a very large red flag. So, you know, I love Airbnb and what they're doing, but I just think that this is a little ironic that you're seeing this happen. And, you know, it seems like a lot of smoke and mirrors to me, Dustin.
Yep. No, I hear you. I mean, talking about numbers, it's that valuation has doubled in that time frame. I do want to mention that, I mean, I'm huge on data and looking at what people are searching. The search volume for people looking to rent Airbnbs doubled since that time frame as well. So one could imagine that probably their revenue has doubled as well. So the numbers seem to line up. I mean, you bring up the hotels. I mean, it's I do hear you that it might not be as safe to go into an Airbnb, but at the same time, let's go into a Hilton where there's thousands of people under one roof and you have tons of people that are touching doorknobs and sneezing and whatnot. I mean, people still want to go out and experience a quote unquote vacation. Granted, I mean, it used to be a Hilton and staying somewhere nice. Now it's someone else's 3-bedroom house. I mean, it's not as fun, but that's the way things are trending. And so whether it's a good stock to buy or not, I'm not sure, but that valuation is a bit crazy.
Search volume is a big deal. Yeah, I don't know how you can blink your eyes and double your valuation when you just took on $2 billion in debt
during a global pandemic.
Yeah.
So going on to our third story, we'll bring it back here to Arizona. So Arizona ranks third for economic momentum. Been talking a lot about Arizona's economy, how many people are moving here, manufacturing exploding. But in terms of overall momentum, we do rank third behind Utah and Idaho, I believe, is the second one, which is a little surprising. But this is based off of personal income, employment, and population. So a couple different variables here. So it kind of takes the people moving and whatnot. It's more of an apples to apples comparison. The state's median household rose by 15.2% from 2017 to 2019 compared to the previous period. And Arizona is fifth best when it comes to income growth in 2019. So overall, numbers are great. We're number 3. When are we going to become number 1?
You know, I think going back to what we were talking about earlier as it relates to this exodus from these large cities, you're seeing a lot of this. And, you know, with what happens, Dustin, when you have a lot more people moving, well, it gives you more opportunity to creatively tax people. I mean, we talked about 208 and what that might do to the income tax. And I think that, you know, it's great to see how much it's growing. I just hope it's not exploited because, again, you know, when people are moving here for certain reasons and then those reasons dry up, no pun intended, it becomes something where, you know, are you going to keep people here for the long haul, which is ultimately the goal if you want to grow a city like this. So I love seeing the numbers as high as they are. But, you know, I just hope that we can find ways to keep Arizona as awesome as it is now as we have more people come into our population.
Yeah, I think is going to be inevitable. I mean, we already have a ton of people from other cities, very few Arizona natives. But I mean, as prices go up, I mean, I was talking to someone that they moved here because for the price here, or the price they were looking for in California, they could have bought 8 houses out here, and they were able to get much bigger house. I mean, so to us Arizonians that have been living here for a while, I mean, it's getting expensive. It's getting, but to other people, this is dirt cheap.
Yeah,
and so, I mean, to your point, it will get that way, but that's where the ebbs and flows happen. That's where real time, numbers come into play, and it's eventually people will then just leave.
Well, it is cool though, because I mean, we talk about this too. There's a lot of cities here in Arizona. It's not just Phoenix. It's like there's 8 different places that are all growing rapidly around the valley. And so I think if there's this kind of dispersion in that sense, that, we can simultaneously be growing significantly across multiple different areas of Arizona. Yeah.
And I think to get to the numbers to where we hit a peak and have people start leaving. I mean, New York is how old? LA is how old? I mean, it'll be a 20, 30, 40-year run before we start getting to that implosion point where it's like, doesn't make sense to live here. Let's go somewhere else. But
no, I think you're right about that. Well, these have all been exciting stories, Dustin. It's been a minute since we've been on here, so we had a lot to talk about. One thing that just stands out to me is this whole Uber Lyft thing. I mean, we've got a gig economy that's growing rapidly, and something needs to be, precedent needs to be set by some sort of a gig economy style business. And Uber and Lyft, we're seeing their stance on how they want to handle this moving forward. You got DoorDash and a bunch of other companies, Instacart. We'll see who sets a precedent that is then kind of followed by everyone else. But I don't think it's going to be the precedent that's being set by Uber and Lyft right now.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see. My favorite was the Halloween here in Arizona. It's don't want to deprive the kids of the candy, the fun and everything, but also don't want to deprive, citizens and everyone, in a whole nother 6, 8, 12 months before we can get back just because we want to go trick-or-treating.
Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. Come on. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, you have been watching Non-Corporate Network, the worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. This has been Entreprenews. Again, my name is Chaz Vandemotter.
Dustin Trout.
Your job is to tell a business owner about us. If you got a friend, if you got a relative, somebody that owns a business, somebody that's interested in business, we want to keep them woke. We don't have a paid agenda here. It's all right off of the cuff. We do our research and we bring you the things that really matter to small business owners. So we appreciate you guys sticking around. Check us out, podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check us out at NCM Broadcast. We're all over social media, blah, blah, blah. We appreciate you guys being here, though. We will be back on Wednesday. Until then, have a great day.